collaboration. Sorry, Victoria is okay. Okay, I can continue. All right. Collaboration ensures a product is usable, feasible, and aligned with business goals. Then, successful designs require multiple perspective and expertise. Now, for you to have a successful or a great design, you need to have multiple perspective. Now, where this perspective coming from? From various stakeholders. Oh, the product manager might give a view onto what we're supposed to do. I'm seeing, let me. Is anyone talking? Victoria, do we have any, or am I good to go?
Me.
Hello? Okay, I think I'm good. Let's continue. So,
Hello,
successful design, yes.
I think there's a message in the chat for you.
Okay. Is it possible to do a brief recap for the sake of recording so others can rewatch? Okay. Okay. I will do that. I will do that. Okay. All right. So, for those that are just joining us, I will just do a little recap. So, our subject matter for today is about the importance of collaboration. Let me see if I can go back. Yeah, so we're discussing about the importance of collaboration in design, and a sub-content to just buttress is about how US UI designers can work effectively with stakeholders. So if you're just joining us, this is what we're discussing for our session tonight. So, and I spoke about just briefly, introducing myself, what I do, and the rest of them. Then I elucidated on some of the outlines that I'm going to really discuss on, which are what we have here, why collaboration matters, and as far as conclusion. Then we throw this question out to the house about asking what collaboration mean in your own language or in your own way. How do you describe collaboration? And two people really, gave a very expansive information or expansive answer to what this subject is all about. And thereafter, we now just give a thorough overview about what it entails. And this is where we are in terms of why collaboration matters. And I was now discussing more about a great design not created in isolation, but a team effort, while collaboration ensures the product is visible and usable and aligned with business goals. Also, I'm just on the third point, which is successful design requires multiple perspective and expertise. So I'll try to create a case scenario of design, maybe an application or a product that a designer is building or designing, and we have a lot of inputs from or various perspectives from like the product manager, even as far as the marketing team, growth team, the engineering team, the QA, and so on and so forth. So that's where I was earlier. So I hope you got the whole gist now, James. Okay. Okay. So let's continue. So on the fourth one is highlighting the value of cross-disciplinary teamwork for delivering high quality product. So this is very critical when it comes to collaboration, that a teamwork, you work together to deliver high quality product. When you work alone, you can't deliver that. When you work in isolation, you can't do that. But when you work alongside with a team, you can be able to deliver quality products that users will love and that users will eventually start using the product on the long run. So that is the essence of why collaboration really matters in a product development cycle. So that being said, now, who are the key stakeholders? Who are the people you interface when you're working in an organization? So let's assume that the student here at Dive Africa are maybe working in a particular organization. These are the set of people you will engage in a organization or in a startup. Developers. Now, the developers here are your front-end developers, your back-end, your mobile devs. These are people you interface in when you're designing an application, when you're designing a product. Second is the product managers. These are the people that spearhead maybe vision of the particular product. So they're the ones that will give you the requirement documentation, and even the product designer also try to liaise with the product manager to ensure that we are aligning with the goal or aligning with what the product is all about. So that is one of the key areas there. Go to interface more. The third one is the growth and the marketing team. So these are people you engage maybe in terms of maybe the changing of maybe like content generally, or maybe the marketing team wants to showcase that, oh, we need to give a kind of an SEO optimization on maybe a particular website, or maybe a branding and the likes. So those are people you engage more often. Or maybe when you engage them, maybe there are some constraints in terms of the product you're designing, and they kind of chip in one or two information on what they're expected to do. So that's where you also try to interface with them. Now, the fourth one is the content strategist. You can call them UX writers, you call them content writers, you can call them content strategists. These are people you will liaise when it comes to content, when it comes to your copies in your product. Because most designers might not know what to put in terms of the content. Some of the content might not relate with the product or relate with the users. So the content strategists come in there and do some refinement on the content, whether it's a website or a mobile application or even a web application. They come in and just fine-tune the content so that it kind of tailor it to what the user will eventually use going forward. Then we have the business teams. So these are people that will tell you, we want to ensure that we have 10% increment in user retention, and how do we arrive at that? So these are people that they always think ahead of profits. They think about, when we design this, can we get maybe 50% signups or login, or and so on and so forth. So those are people you interface going forward in a organization. So this five-man team you're seeing here, you're going to engage going forward in an organization or in a startup. So let's move ahead. Now, how does these designers now collaborate with stakeholders? How do you collaborate with stakeholders? So here now we have, I broke them down in three phases. First, designer with product manager. Then subsequently, we'll have designer with developer, and we'll have designer with other stakeholders. So I broke them down in three phases. So the first phase is the designer with product manager. So the first item here is that they align with business goals. They align with business goals. That should that we must understand the product vision, the user needs, and the KPIs. KPI is called key performance indicator. This is where you liaise with the product manager. Now, let's assume that I'm in an organization. Let's assume that I'm in Kuda Bank, and you're in a particular feature team. Maybe your team deals with a particular product, like maybe a fintech product. It might not be Kuda now. I'm using Kuda as just the brand name. Maybe another product that could I want to launch out? And we have a set of team, like a product manager. Maybe Iyano is now the product designer. Then we have developers and we have testers and the rest of them. So in that period, the product manager might say, oh, we have a requirement documentation, we have a user story that we want to showcase to people. Okay, I think someone has a question. That's your screen. I just logged out and logged back in. This can someone confirm they can see my screen? Can someone confirm? Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you. So for the person that says cannot see my screen, I think you may want to log out or you may want to change your network. Could be an internet connectivity constraint. Okay, so back to what I was discussing. Aligning with business goals. So I was painting a case scenario of Kuda Bank, and maybe they have another feature or another application or product they're trying to launch out. And we have a product manager, and we have Iyano as a product designer, and we also have other stakeholders in place. So the first point of call here is that the product manager will have to segregate this information thoroughly on, okay, the product. What are the features? What are the requirements? What are the technical constraints? And what are the user stories? So the product manager will have to itemize all this down, which will now hand it over to the product designer. Now, the product designer might not understand all those requirements there. So that is where the product designer now, or UX UI designer now have to now interface with the product manager to have a clear understanding about the product we are trying to build or trying to design. So that is where the alignment with business will come in. So the designer should have a clear understanding of the product vision, of the user needs, and the KPIs. If they cannot get a clear indicator, then there will be a gap already. That should have the designer will not be building another product entirely, but it's not in tandem with what we have in terms of the product. So it's very important that that synergy between the designer and the product manager comes in place so that the designer understands the vision behind the product, they understand the user needs, and they understand the key performance indicator. It's very important that that synergy comes up between the designer and the product manager. Now, the second one is prioritize features. They work together to balance user needs and business requirements. Like I said, the synergy always continues there. You need to know maybe the product manager enlisted a lot of features for a particular product. The designer needs to work in hand with the product manager to look at the features and to understand the user needs, or to balance user needs, and also to balance the business requirement. It's very important. You don't just, the product manager should not just throw it to you and just say, oh, that is the product requirement documentation. You have the user story there, you have the work requirement, and so on and so forth. No, you must have that conversation with the product manager so that you understand the features, because most product managers do not give you a detailed document. They just sometimes giving you first hand. They don't give you a detailed document. That's why you need to have a synergy with the product manager so that you clearly understand the features that is required, those that is, because there's some features that might not be needed for that particular period. So you need to come in, work together, itemize it, look through every features and see which one works on a particular product. So that is what you really need to work on. And the third one is feedback on feasibility. So designers help PMs make decisions on feature complexity and user experience impact. This is where designers come in handy, because if the document or the requirement is not clear, you will need to, at least the designer need to come in and ensure that we have a feature, make decision on feature complexity, because there's some features that can be so cumbersome and be so complex. So you need to come in and ensure that, oh, we followed through with the requirement and we do not have a very ambiguous features put in place. So that's one thing you need to take note of. Then the last one is the iterative development. We collaborate during each sprint or iteration to refine and improve design. This is a very, very valid one. So as a designer, when you just build a particular feature, let's assume that I just designed a fintech application and I just worked on the authentication screen. Authentication screen means a sign up, log in, then we go to the home page, which is the dashboard where you see your account details, or maybe you see your account balance, quote and quote, and maybe other features there. So once that is really done, the PM also need to do a review with you, or the designer need to do a review with the PM. So that session, we call it as a demo session. We call it as a demo session in which you're showcasing what you have done with a stakeholder. It can be with business, it can be with business, and it can be with the product team. You're showcasing the designs you have done to them. So, and when they see that, oh, there's some changes that need to be worked upon, that's why you need to now make some necessary iteration. You continue to iterate, reiterate to ensure that it now balances up or it meets up with what the features or the needs of the user. So those are the key areas when you interface with or collaborate with a product manager. Now let's move ahead. Now with the designer or with the developer now. Now, if you remember vividly, I spoke about the key stakeholders and developers. I brushed them across board, which is front end, back end, full stack, even as far as mobile devs. Those four. So that's the developer aspect of things. I hope you're following. If you're following, you can just give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Okay, I can see a thumbs up. All right, so let's continue. Now, for developers aspect, we are looking at the first item here is clear communication. It's called design choices and technical feasibility. I'm going to say this, and if possible, you can write it down. If you cannot articulate, if you cannot communicate your design choices, your design decisions with stakeholders, especially your PMs, your developers, then I think you are not fit enough to become a product designer. This is my school of thought, and I will stand by that. If you are not able to articulate, unable to communicate your design choices, your design decisions to stakeholders, then I don't think you are fit enough to become a UX UI designer. Why did I say that? Because communication is the bedrock in any team or organization. Communication is the bedrock, is a front runner in any organization. If you cannot communicate, then there's something wrong. That's what it means. That's why effective communication is a skill, not just a skill, a soft skill that every designer needs to have. So clear communication is very critical when it comes to working hand in hand with developer. If you are very cumbersome with a particular phrase or some phrase or a local balance that what I did is not what I ordered or so, or what I got is not what I ordered, something like that. What really resulted to that is there's no communication. So clear communication is critical when you are interfacing or collaborating with developers. So there must be a clear communication. You must discuss the design choices. Oh, I designed this because we want to do this, do A, do B, do C. So it's very important that you communicate with the developers. Don't just say that, oh, I have done one design and you just cross your leg, just read a book. No, you follow up with them, you communicate with them as much as possible. Second is design handoff. You provide developers with detailed assets, prototypes, and specification. Now, let's assume that I'm going to use another name here. I'm trying to use another name. Okay. Let's assume that Ayomide just design one fintech application that tailors for cross-border payment in Africa. And you just done with the design and you're just trying to now hand off to the developers. Upon handing off, these are critical things we need to put into perspective. One, a prototype link. You need to have a link to that prototype. And it's not just to just show the prototype link to the developers. You need to have a demo session with them, showcasing how the end-to-end process of that fintech application is. From the homepage down to the last feature of that particular fintech app. That's number one. Number two, you need to provide them with assets. Now, what do I mean by assets? All those images, all those icons, all the other informations there. You need to provide them with those details. It's very important. Also, annotations, specifications, very important. Because when you're trying to log in, you need to give them some annotation. A sticky note will be better. Tell them that, when users click on login button, they're expected to go to have maybe to get an OTP via email or via phone number. Those kind of annotation and specification is very important. Now, specification now, in terms of the spacing between the cards, is very important too. So that you don't just gonna do any design on the top of their head, because we have developers that just do things, they don't really look at the prototype again, just do things from their own head. So you need to document all these things properly. The specification, the spacing between sections, spacing between elements is very important so that they understand it and they do a pixel perfect design. So that is very important in your collaboration with developers. Now, the last one is a shared tools. Utilize design systems, version control, collaborative platforms like Zeppelin, Figma. So you can use Figma, share your prototype link with them, and walk them through the end-to-end process, and so on and so forth. So it's very important that this is really put into perspective. Now, let's go to other stakeholders. So other stakeholders like marketing team. Now, for the marketing team, we ensure that the design align with brand identity and marketing goals. It's very important. Very important that what you're designing is in alignment with their brand identity. So, content strategists collaborate to ensure text, images, and design works together seamlessly. I think I said that earlier. The content must be clear. The copies must be clear as much as possible so that users understand, or anyone using the application understand what this product is all about. Then we have business stakeholders. They advocate for user-centered design while meeting business objectives. So these are the arrowheads where a designer collaborates with other stakeholders. So let's forge ahead to the benefits of effective collaboration. I hope we're still following. Hope we're still following. A thumbs up. Thank you. All right. So what are the benefits of collaboration, effective collaboration? So improve user experience. Combining expertise results in a design that is both functional and user-friendly. That is the benefit of effective collaboration. When you're collaborating with a team, it gives you an improved user experience. You're not doing this in solo. You're not doing it in solo mode. You're working alongside with team. You're telling, please do this, do this, do this, do this. And when you design a particular product, you'll be proud of yourself that, I have done a particular design, and you're now seeing it live on your hands. So It's very important. Team collaboration, very, very important. Then the second one is faster time to market. Streamline communication and decision making, reduce delays. It reduces delays. So when you're collaborating with PMs, collaborating with developers, other stakeholders, you're streamlining the communication cut across various spectrum. At the point in time, you can easily design and build a product and launch out on time. There are no form of delays. So that PM give you a documentation and designer just sleeping on that particular documentation. No, but there's a channel already there. PM to PD or PD to developer, from developer to QA. And like that, the chain of command continues. So it gives a faster time to market. That means, let's assume that maybe the fintech product we're trying to launch or we're trying to launch out is for like maybe 2 months. And within that time frame, you're communicating. Designer is communicating with developer, designer is communicating with product manager, and they are all in that collaborative effort to ensure that we move up with that timeline. That is the essence of collaboration. That is the benefit of having effective collaboration. Now, high quality product. The collaboration ensures all areas are aligned and addressed. Pardon me. So it also builds around quality products. When you're collaborating with people, in no time, you're going to be building a product that works, that is functional, that is usable. Then we'll have innovative solution, diverse perspective, foster creative problem solving. I said that earlier, perspective from different people. Maybe the marketing team has 1 or 2 things they want to share with you. The developer say, oh, maybe we need to tweak 1 or 2 things. The PM has some other things that we need to maybe tweak in terms of the business model. Those are things that, based on innovations, we bring a lot of innovations. I will share a case scenario again. Where I work presently, I work with it's Sterling Bank, and also Sterling Bank, if you know the organogram or the architecture, they work on 5 major areas. We call them HART, the acronym HART. H is health, E is education, A is agriculture, R is renewable energy, T is technology. So I'm working with a particular fintech app, and the PM engaged me for designing a website. And not more like a design of the particular website. And the PM brought about a lot of innovative ideas, perspectives on how we can design a particular website. So there was a lot of other competitors we have to envisage with, and that brought about how we can easily revamp that particular website. So PM also can give innovative ideas. But some of the ideas you might take it to client and seeker. Some of them you need to review it with them and tell them which one is feasible and which one is not. So that is the aspect of having innovative solutions, perspective from various people, various stakeholders, with foster problem solving. So let's move ahead. Now, what are the challenges? No, we spoke about the benefits. I can see the benefits as advantages. Now, what are the challenges? What are the demerits? What are the disadvantages of collaborating with stakeholders? So, miscommunication. Miscommunication. This time around, maybe miscommunication happens when we have a conflict. Maybe you are saying that the developer should should make the card rounded, and you might not understand that terminology. Automatically, it's a disconnect already. Or the PM is telling you that, oh, should use a different business model, change this, and you're not even understanding them. So miscommunication can happen, and it can also lead to misalignment and conflicting feedback. Conflicting feedback can come in handy. So as much as possible, as a designer, let's speak in plain terms. I know that we designers, we have a lot of technical, I call them technical jargons. Oh, wireframe, prototyping, corner radius, auto layout, component, variant. I know that we have those things, design token, we have those nomenclature. But as much as possible, when we're trying to communicate with stakeholders, let's make it as plain and simple as possible so that both parties understand themselves. It's very important. So one of the challenges that happen there is miscommunication. Conflict can arise and so on and so forth. Then siloed workflows, redundant or conflicting work. Maybe I'm designing a homepage and what the PM or what it has on the document does not tally with it. That's a conflicting work already. So as much as possible, you need to bridge the gap, sense of collaboration. Then late involvement of the team. It causes or costly rework and delay. So as a designer, for designers in the house here, please take note of this. Engage all your stakeholders in the beginning. This time, someone just mute their mic. Thank you. Late involvement of the team. So it can cost rework. Ensure, as designers, ensure that you engage all your stakeholders from the onset. Don't when you have design finished, you now call all your stakeholders to come and see. No. Let them be there. Let them, all the designers have a meeting with PM, have a meeting with the developers, so that all parties will rub minds together and ensure that we are going in that same direction. It's very important because sometimes it causes a rework. I'll share another scenario that happened. There's a design I did. I worked on an onboarding screen of a same FinTech application. I don't know why I'm using FinTech. More or less, I think that's where I tried more. So I worked on that product and I worked on the onboarding screen. The onboarding screen, in terms of the number of clicks before they go to the homepage, was alarming and enormous. It was so much that if a user handles that particular application, they can turn off at a given point in time. There'll be a high drop rate in that particular product. So I showcased this with the business team. The director was there, the business was there, the product team was there, developers were also there. And automatically, they slandered that particular design. That the journey to navigate from the authentication, onboarding down to the homepage was so tedious. So what really happened then? I had to now redesign the screen. Redesign all over again, which cost a work and which cost a delay. Because at the point in time, we're about to test the particular product. And we saw that there are a lot of gaps already there. I had to now redesign the platform. The developers have to now redesign again, which caused them a lot of rework and delays. So this is what we're talking about, late involvement of the team. It's very important that you engage them early on your process flow. Then, technical limitation. Developers not communicating with designers based on technical constraint. Some developers will not engage you on this. You might say, oh, there's some technical constraint. We may not work with this particular design you have showcased on the platform. Most developers may not do that. Some will do that. So the areas where they say, oh, there's technical constraint, you need to engage them. Oh, maybe they can share that screen, have a session with them, understand the constraint behind it, and find a way to balance both of them up without compromising or the features or the business goal or the user need as much as possible. So it's very important that that engagement is there with the developers. So those are the challenges, and there are still many more. But for the purpose of This presentation, I just have to elucidate just a few. Now, what are the tools for collaboration? I hope we're still following. I hope we're still following. A thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, okay. Yeah, so what are the tools for collaboration? What are the tools for collaboration? So I just enlisted a few. One of them is Figma. Well, as a designer, Figma should be your go-to tool. Yeah, should be your go-to tool as a designer. So also we have Slack. Slack is a communication tool where you engage stakeholders too. Also, apart from Slack, we still have Teams. Other stakeholders use Teams. Some also use Discord. I think on a rare occasion. Slack, Teams, yeah, more or less. Those are the two platforms more we use in terms of instant messaging and discussion with stakeholders. Then we have Jira, we have Trello. So for like where I work with, I use Jira. So this is where we track your task has been done. Developers will see it, other stakeholders see what you're doing. So with that, they know that, oh, okay, Yano has worked on your body screen. Maybe the design is under review, or maybe the design is about to be completed, and so on and so forth. So they track what you do in using Jira. Some also use Trello as a tool for collaboration. Then Zeppelin is a tool for design handoff between designers and developers. Most companies use Zeppelin. I think only a few, I would say a few companies use Zeppelins, but most of what they use is just Figma, just share the prototype link and communicate with developers and so on and so forth. Only a few companies use Zeppelin, but in our client, more of Figma is being deployed. Then Miro is for wireframing, brainstorming, and so on and so forth. So underneath there are just the images for the respective tools. Then what is now the best practice for successful collaboration? What are the best practices? So if you're coming as a designer for a particular company, what is the best practice to have or for a successful collaboration? Number one, communicate early and often. Like I said, communication is a soft skill. You must communicate. You must speak out. You must talk. Keep everyone in the loop. Oh, I'm still designing this. That is why most organizations do an agile development in form of a sprint and stand up. Yeah, so let's assume that I'm in a particular organization, we do daily stand-ups, in which from Monday to Friday on XYZ time, where we discuss or where we talk about what you did yesterday, if there are any blockers, and also what you expect to do today. So how do we do this? Is to track what you have done over time. We don't want to leave anything by chance. That's why collaboration is critical here. That's why communication is critical. So you speak in front of other stakeholders. The PMs are there, the QA are there, developers are there to know what you have done thus far. So with that, they have an idea that, oh, okay, they're progressing already, and at least maybe in the next 1, 2, 3 weeks, the design will be done. So that already gives kind of an assurance that yes, we are progressing further, we are getting closer to ensure that developers can now implement the design and so on and so forth. So communication is very important. You must communicate early and often. Second is be flexible. Design may evolve based on technical constraint or business pivot. This one is critical. The PM might say, oh, the future we're looking at, we have an engagement with the top leadership in that particular company. Now we're having a business pivot. We have a business model that wants to change. Yes, as a designer, you should not get angry and put a sudden that, that they're changing the business model. You have to just be flexible as much as possible. Be flexible because changes occur in design. So let's be flexible as much as possible when it comes to technical constraint or business pivot. Then advocate for the user. You have to balance the business goal with a great user experience. Those two must come hand in hand. You cannot leave one for the other. Those two must come hand in hand. But at a point in time, there must be a center of convergence between both of them. Must balance them as much as possible. Then embrace feedback. Constructive critique leads to better results. As a designer, you will get criticisms, be it constructive or otherwise. You will get feedbacks on your designs. Those feedbacks are not talking about you as a person. It's not relating to you as a person. It's relating to the design and relating to improving on your design. That is the essence of feedbacks. Like what my team lead said in where I work, feedback is like a meat for designer. Yes, just you have to embrace feedback as much as possible. So embrace feedback, use collaborative tools. Most of us are using Figma, Miro, Slack, Trello. Use them for collaboration and for communication. Then speak their language. Understand developers' constraints and product goals. Speak their language. Avoid technical jargons. Like I said, most of us, we know all these things. Oh, constraint, auto layout, all those stuff. We know those things. But as much as possible, speak their language. In terms of product, speak like a product person. In the sense of a developer, you need to come into that level, into that niche of developer, and know how to speak their language to get a clear understanding about what we are trying to build or what we're trying to implement. So, this is the concluding part of our discussion tonight. So, the best designs come from great teams. I would say bold it, write it somewhere in your notepad. The best designs come from great teams. UX UI design isn't just about pixels. It's about solving problems collaboratively. It's not about pushing pixels. It's not about saying, my UI is fine. In as much as UI is good, it must be functional too, it must be usable. Better teamwork, better products, happy user or happier user. When you have a team that works together, you will get a better product and you will get a happier user. Because if you have a team that are just working in silos, I bet you will have an angry users and you have a substandard product in the market. Then the last is you focus on open communication. I'm just giving a recap here. Share tools, mutual respect to foster a productive and a collaborative environment. So this is where I will draw the curtain for today's session. Thank you for listening. It's time for Q&A. Got questions? You can have it now. Okay, Ayomide, the floor is open.
Thank you, sir, for the session, sir. So I want to ask, when we designing for a firm, like you said, I want to ask when I want to do a high fidelity and when I want to do a low fidelity, so that we will not be going back and forth. Are we presenting? You know, you said you use a firm as an example that when Just imagine you are actually presenting a work you've done, and it's saw that there are many
Yes,
clicks. So what are we presenting? Are we
yes.
presenting the high fidelity, or we are still presenting the low fidelity wireframe? Is it or what are the step? Can you just put us through? When are we supposed to present the low fidelity and all?
Okay. So now it depends on the organization you work with. Like my organization, that scenario I just painted, it was a high fidelity design. This was already validated by the product team long ago, but we now have to showcase it off with the business team, and even the director of engineering was there. So the director of engineering flaunted that onboarding. Although he gave a remark that my design was looking good, but the developer did not really implement pixel perfect design. But that's another issue on its own. But in terms of the high fidelity, when you're presenting to stakeholders, over time, is your high fidelity design they need to look at. Oh, how do you navigate end to end from point A to point B to point C, even to the last screen? So, like I said, it differs by organization. Also, there's some organization that say, oh, you can create a mid fidelity wireframe. I won't say low fidelity though, or low fidelity, there's nothing there per se. It's just, I call them blocks and rectangles. It's nothing really, you can't see anything there. But in terms of presenting to stakeholders, medium fidelity works, but most times the business team wants to see the full-fledged app, as in the images, the colors, everything there, so that they can do a constructive feedback on the designs. I hope that is clear. Olayomide,
Sorry, it was great. I couldn't hear you at some
can you hear me?
point. Yeah, I can hear you sir, now.
I don't. You get that?
Yeah, I did. Thank you. I did.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. You're welcome. And any other question? Any other question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Okay. If there's no question, we'll ask questions. We'll ask questions in a moment. Let me stop sharing. Let's stop sharing. Stop presenting. Okay. How many on the team now? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to ask some questions now. I'm going to take it around. So, Victor, what do you learn today? So everyone understands the subject matter. What do you learn today, Victor? Victor Itamaro.
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you for the.
If you're speaking, I can hardly hear you. If you're speaking, I can hardly hear you. Okay. Pending when Victor speak. Okay, in no order, I'm going to just call people names, or like three or four people name, then that'll be a wrap. Adebayo Adams, what do you learn today?
Okay, good evening, sir. Um,
Good evening.
actually learned a lot. I learned about how to communicate with the stakeholders, the collaboration, to how to design your products by communicating with the stakeholders and everyone in your community. So yeah, so you have a good product at the end of the day. Thank you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. You've learned something today. Good. Um, how many did I say? I said four. So three to go. In no order, Elizabeth, what do you learn today?
Good evening, sir.
Okay,
Good
good evening.
evening, sir.
Good evening, Ayomide.
Okay, I'm not doing it.
No, continue. Continue. Already open your mic. So share what you learned today.
Thank you very much for the for this today's session. So what I learned today, I learned about collaboration with other team members. Like for example, if you are working with an organization, like the importance of working with other people to create a product that will meet the user need. So you emphasize on the fact that it is very important that as we are working, we learn to communicate with other like other team members and the product manager, the engineers too, because that's the only thing that will ensure us creating a product that will not just be in the market, but that will also solve the user problem. So that was what I learned today.
Fantastic. 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 All right. The guy has talked, a lady has talked. So we're moving on to Damilola Adekoya. What do you learn today? Uh, Damilola Adekoya.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Damilola.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for the section, sir.
You're
So
welcome.
I learned about design, and I like how to communicate when you are designing with a team member. So you have to listen to them. Like we have to communication have to be the key for everything, so that the design and everything can go well with the product um we are about to oh,
Yes, about to build.
sorry,
Launch.
like
I get
I
you.
don't know the
I
word to
get
use
you.
for it.
I get you. I get you, Damilola. I understand. I
Okay,
understand.
sir. So
Understand.
we have to understand each other, so that
Yes.
there will not be a mistake when designing, like when putting everything together. So that's all, sir.
All right. So developers can turn your first. It's very important to communicate. So, one more, then I will hand over to Victoria. I've not spoken. I've not spoken. Kenneth, what do you learn today?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Kenneth.
Yeah, well, I learned two important things. That
All right.
number one is great design has to do with a good teamwork. For you to come up with a great design, there must be collaboration. Good teamwork. Then number two is that clear communication is very key for UX UI designers. For you to be a good UX UI designer, you must know or you must learn how to communicate clearly to stakeholders. Thank you.
Oh, valid one. Valid one. Okay, Victoria, pass the baton to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Benjamin. We really appreciate. I'm sure on behalf of every other person on this call, I'm sure they've learned a lot. You've been able to impact them greatly, and for that we appreciate you. Thank you for coming on board to do this with us. We hope to see more of you in coming times. That brings us to the end of today's mentorship. To everybody that joined, thank you so much. Don't forget, classes resumes on Tuesday. And as they have said, no attendance, no assignments, no boot camp.